Welcome back, everyone. We got our Chapter 2 practice test going on right now. So we're going to be working our way through this again. Feel free to pause the video anytime if you would like so you can rewatch anything if I'm going too fast, okay? Alright, number 1. Consider the relation, the following points. Write the domain and range. Is it a function? Very simple stuff, okay? Please make this as easy as possible. Your domain is all of your x values. So what you have here is a set of 4 points. Each point is an x comma y. So if you have to label that, please do so. So when we label our domain, you're just going across picking out all of your x's. 6, -4, 8, 0. And we're just going to label that down. Okay? The corresponding range is all the y values. So we got 2, 7, -4, 5. Alright, now, in terms of is it a function, as simple as can be, you're checking all of your x values to see if any of them repeat. If they do not repeat, then yes, this is a function. If they do repeat, then it would not be a function. This is called being one-to-one, meaning that every x value maps itself to one y value. Okay? Awesome. Number 2, state the domain of the function, f of x equals 2 divided by x minus 6. Domain is all the possible x values. When you're looking at something like this, you'll notice that x is in the denominator of the fraction. The one thing we can't have is a 0 in my denominator. So if you ever see an expression in your denominator like this, take whatever it is and just set it not equal to 0. So now when I solve for this, I know that x cannot equal 6. So what this means is that I can have every single value on the real number spectrum besides 6. Okay? And you can write that in words, all reals besides 6. Okay, I am going to give a mini lesson in class about interval notation over here. It's really simple. I know it looks complex, but all this is saying here is every single number from negative infinity to infinity except for the number 6. Okay? Good. A roof rises 2 units for every 5 units of horizontal run. What is the slope of the roof? If the roof is 10 feet high, how long is it? Okay, slope is rise over run. Alright, so I mean we have our equation, our formula of y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. But in general, it's just rise over run. So they're telling us here it rises 2 units over 5 units run. So 2 over 5. Okay? So the slope is just 2 over 5, no big deal. But then they're saying if the roof is 10 feet high, which means its rise is 10, how long is it? So what we're going to do here is create ourselves a proportion. 2 over 5 equals x over 10. And you can kind of see easily, multiply 5 by 2 to get 10. So, I mean, we can multiply 2 by 2 to get 4 is our answer. But what you can also do is cross multiply. And I just want to share this with you real quick. 5x equals 20. 2 times 10 is that. Divide both sides by 5. 4. So we would write our long length is 4 units. Okay? And please make sure you are remembering units because it is very important, especially when dealing with a word problem. Number 4. If f of x equals x squared plus 4x minus 7, find the value of f of -1. Very important to note, f of x is basically the same thing as saying y equals. Okay, it's something that I'm going to remind you day in, day out as the year goes on. Try to let that sink in. I know it seems a little bit kind of weird, but it is just what it is. Now, this is also, in terms of is this linear or nonlinear, because it's x squared, this is going to be nonlinear. It's going to be a quadratic or a parabola. All we're doing is replacing all the x's with -1. So, -1 squared plus 4 times -1 minus 7. Now, I do want to point out to you guys, if you use this calculator, alright, hopefully the glare is not there, please, please, please make sure you're putting parentheses in whenever you're doing the -1 squared, okay? Because we all know -1 times -1 is +1. If you put -1 squared in your calculator without parentheses, it's going to give you the wrong answer. So it's a very silly mistake, but I've made it myself, so try to avoid it. So we get 1, 4 times -1 is -4 minus 7. -11 plus 1 is -10. Boom, boom goes dynamite. We're all good. Okay? Cool. Alright, wonderful. Moving right along. Graph each equation. Our goal for all of these is to get y by itself. Okay, so for the first one, I'm subtracting 5x over. Negative 2y equals negative 5x plus 10. Divide everything by negative 2. So I get 5 halves x minus 5. Yes, I'm keeping 5 halves as an improper fraction. It's going to really help me out when I graph this. So here is my origin, 0, 0. My negative 5 is my b when we look at our slope-intercept form, which means it's our y-intercept. So we're dropping down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to plot this point. Okay? Then my slope is 5 halves. Going off of my y-intercept, I'm going to rise up 5, so I'm back to the origin, and run at 2. 1, 2. Okay? Since it was positive, I went up. If this was negative, I would go down. I have 2 points. Let's play connect the dots. And you've just successfully completed graphing it. Just to show you on here, I'm not going to show you for every problem, there is a y equals button in the top left-hand corner. You may hit this, and what you can do is enter in 5 divided by 2. The x button is, here I'll show you real quick. No, sorry for the glare. The x button is right next to alpha, and then minus 5. Now when you graph this, pull this back down a little bit so you can see it better. You'll notice that my graph matches up over here. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but I don't want you guys just drawing the graph. So you need to get points. To do this, we're going to hit second graph. And we'll have a calculator day in here. But this gives you all the points on this line. It's probably one of the most helpful things in this entire calculator, and this is going to be like one of our best moves in terms of what we use this calculator for. You'll notice 0, negative 5 right there, as well as 2, 0, which both of those points are plotted on my graph. Okay. I know it's really hard to see with this camera, but that's your x-axis right there. Alrighty? Wonderful. Moving along, number 6. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2. Okay, again, here's my x-axis. I don't know why the camera's being a little funky, but hopefully you can see that. Plus 2 is the y-intercept. Go up 2, plot a point. Okay. Negative 2/3 x, down 2, right 3. 1, 2, 3. I try to teach you guys to always go to the right. Like you only go up or down depending on the negative sign, because it just keeps things simple. It's simple is better. There we go. Okay, and this makes sense too. Positive slope rising for number 5. Negative slope falling for number 6. Number 7, x equals negative 4. This is a special line. It's a vertical line. Okay, y equals is horizontal, x equals is vertical. All we do is, at your origin, since x is negative 4, I go to the left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, plot a point. And every single value has to be x equals negative 4. So therefore we draw a line going straight up and down. You can't do these graphs on the calculator. Where you can on the newer ones, it's kind of complicated to do so. So I just kind of really stress you need to know that one just off the top of your head. Pretty simple. If it was x equals 2, you'd go to the right 2 and just draw a vertical line at 2. I mean, it's really all you're doing. Graphing inequality, same general idea. Get y by itself. Subtract 2x over. Negative y is less than or equal to negative 2x plus 5. When I divide by a negative for an inequality, all my signs flip as well as the inequality sign. So y is greater than or equal to 2x minus 5. Go down 5, plot a point. My slope is 2, which means 2 over 1. If you have to, you can draw that out. Up 2 over 1. Alright, now, because it's greater than or equal to, this is we're going to draw a solid line. And we have to shade it. In general, if it's greater than, you shade above. So all I'm going to do is shade above. And when I say in general, I mean like 99.99% of the time. There you go. Okay. Less than you shade below. If you would like, you can do a test point like test 0, 0. I always pick 0, 0 because it's the easiest point. If I plug it in up here, plug a 0 in for y, you get 0. Plug a 0 in for x, you get 0. Minus 5. Is 0 greater than or equal to negative 5? Yes, it is. So we're good. Test right. That's why you shade that side. Okay, number 9 kind of complements number 7, which is y is greater than or equal to 5. Instead of a vertical line, we're going to have a, drum roll please, horizontal line. Cool. So we start here, go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plot a point. Again, greater than or equal to, so it's a solid line. And greater than, we're shading above, so just shade above. Try to make yourself a little mental note that every time you have an inequality graph, you need to shade something. All right. Last one, number 10, it's already in the slope-intercept form, which is kind of nice. My slope is 4, or I'm sorry, my y-intercept is 4, up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. My slope is negative 1/3, which means down 1, right 3. Awesome. Now, it says less than. Okay, you notice that it's not less than or equal to. All I'm doing here is I'm drawing myself a line, but it needs to be dashed, dotted, however, just to kind of signify it's different. What that means, just to kind of put this in context, let's go back to number 8 for a second. Greater than or equal to means any number on, or any point on this line is a part of the solution, meaning 0, negative 5 is a solution to this inequality. It will work. Meanwhile, over here, if there's a point on that line, it will not work, okay, because it's only less than, not less than or equal to. That's all it's saying. Because it's less than, instead of shading above it like we did for greater than, we simply shade below it. So, again, shade everything below it, just doesn't have to be perfect. Boom, there you go. Kind of ugly, but I apologize. Alright guys, so that's the front page. Alright, I'm going to make my next video up here in a moment, and you guys can check out the back page. Keep up the good work, and as always, good luck. We are all counting on you.